Greetings YouTube, we've got an official reveal trailer for Battlefield 2042. I know that some stuff has been leaked ahead of this trailer. I haven't seen or heard, read any of it. So I'm going into this trailer blind, which is how I like it. I prefer Battlefield to Call of Duty. That's the kind of person I am. I prefer Battlefield's greater number of options, and even though traditionally you're railroaded into certain classes, I kind of like that because it forces you to make decisions. But I have heard some things about this game, and I think I'll get into them afterwards. I'll watch the trailer first, and then I'll have a bit of a discussion with myself about some things I've heard. Game engine footage. That's never a good thing when you see that. I was just watching Horizon Forbidden West's trailer, and that's it. That was basically in-game footage. Actual game footage. This is just running off the same engine. So this is not exactly what's going to happen in the actual game. Fingers crossed it represents the kind of thing they're aiming for. We have those now. They're not very widely used, I don't think, but we have those. Those things actually exist. So does this hint that there'll be destructible environments? I don't know. Here's hoping you can climb things like these shipping containers a damn sight faster than that. Okay. That looks a little bit more like actual in-game stuff, that last sequence. That last little bit. Ooh, hovercraft. Oh good, copyrighted music. I'm going to have to mute this in my video, aren't I? If one person so much as fires a single rocket at that vehicle, it'll explode. Okay, that's a bit gaudy. Las Vegas would say that's overdoing it a bit. Yeah, as spectacular as that was, I don't see it happening in-game. Oh, if only it was that easy to mow people down with one of those scout helicopters. And again, if only. Yeah, there's a few bits here that are implausible. You're not going to be able to do them in-game. Okay, again, incredibly unlikely. Although from what I understand, that did actually happen one time. But it's incredibly implausible. You're not going to be able to recreate it yourself. You'd have to do it like 1,000 times to even come close. I can only assume, since everybody's stopped what they're doing and are now running for their lives, that this is... Oh no, is it like a natural event that this is? So I thought it was some kind of god-awful super weapon that was about to fire from an orbiting satellite. I can't help but notice, but wonder though, that shouldn't the weather forecast have picked up on this ahead of time? They're getting better at predicting the weather these days. And again, I'm assuming we're going to get a wingsuit. Is it normal for tornadoes to have absolutely no clouds in the sky around them, by the way? I was going to say, gameplay reveal 13th of June. So they're saying it'll be later on tonight, most likely. Actual gameplay. Okay. So that's better if we're actually going to get actual gameplay. So yeah, it's very flashy and makes you go wow, and a fair bit of it you're not going to be able to recreate in the actual game. A lot of the flashier stuff though seem to feature a lot of vehicles, and there are a hell of a lot of soldiers in each scene. Now, if you are, well, I'm just going to open up these Kotaku articles that I found. Which one? Yeah. If you're playing on PC, you're going to have 128 players in a single match, 64 aside. Now, generally speaking, I do like it when the player count is higher. I mean, we've heard a while back that Overwatch is going from 6v6 to 5v5, and I'm like, really? You felt the need to scale it down from that? Apparently they want to get rid of one of the tanks, but anyway, this feels like it might be a bit overkill. I remember one of the previous Battlefield games, don't ask me which one, I've no idea, but there was a disparity between the PC and the console versions for quite a while. And I think this one game, it was boasting like biggest maps you've ever seen. And I remember I must have been shot down or jumped out of a helicopter that was about to explode or something, but I landed on the top of a snowy mountain and the map was huge and there was absolutely no fucker near me. There was nothing for me to do. The map was that big, I couldn't find anybody. And that's the only issue I might have with going bigger and bigger and bigger all the time, because eventually you're going to run into a whole lot of nothing somewhere in the map. So I think you can go overboard with this. So I'm quite glad that the PS4 and Xbox One versions will only support 64. Hang on, is this coming out on PS5 as well? Sorry, I should have probably checked this. Should have probably read this beforehand. Right, so if you're on a PS4 and Xbox One, you're limited to 64 players. So presumably if you're on Xbox Series X/S or the PS5, you'll have the 128 players. That's a lot for a single match. I suppose it depends on the map, because this is something else I wanted to mention. I wanted to talk about, because traditionally in Battlefield has, I think it's called a combined arms design, or at least that's what I've heard people call it. You have your infantry, then you have your land vehicles, your sea vehicles, your air vehicles. You have this whole plethora of methods of not only engaging enemies but moving around. Each have their own strengths and weaknesses, and if you're a well coordinated team, which most people are not, then you can compensate for each other's weaknesses with different approaches. But and incidentally, that's another thing that 128 players is going to complicate: communication. I went on a clan match. I think it was back on Battlefield 3 or 4, and there were like something like 32 of us. That's all, and it was just It was just all the while on the audio channel. Complete meaningless drivel. If they're going to put 128 players, well, 64 players on a single team, they are going to have to introduce separate radio channels. They're going to have to do it because that's too fucking much. Otherwise, this higher player count is going to cause some problems. As far as maps are concerned, though, I'd like a spread of maps, because we've already another thing that we've heard that it won't have a campaign either. Now, I'm not too bothered about that, rather surprisingly. It's a feature that's not going to be in it, but with video games, if a video game has both a campaign and a multiplayer, the developer effectively has to create two entirely separate games. Not one game, but two separate games, and then just sort of package them in the same overall program. But they, from an engineering standpoint, from a programming, from a graphics perspective, they have to engineer them as two entirely separate games. So this will help them focus on the multiplayer. It also means that chances are we won't be just limited to like 8 maps at release, because that's going to get boring pretty quickly, regardless of what else is going on. You need more than 8 maps. You really do. Because the maps control how you move around and what vehicles you can use. Because the vehicles are a quality of the map. So it makes a big difference if you've got only 8 maps. It's going to get stale really quickly. Apparently no Battle Royale mode. Yes. But I hate Battle Royale, by the way. I can't stand it. But again, another game mode that's going to be missing. So that, again, they'll be able to focus on multiplayer. And Call of Duty, I mean, you go to Call of Duty for the campaign. You go to Battlefield for the multiplayer, you know. So I'm not too worried about the fact that there's a campaign and a rumoured Battle Royale missing. What I am potentially concerned about is the amount of multiplayer stuff. Because they're taking this extra stuff out, what are they going to replace it with? You know what I mean? I mean, are they only going to use that extra development time for bug testing? Which I don't really have an objection to, but if that's all they're going to be doing... Because quite a few games recently, one of the more high-profile ones, obviously, Cyberpunk, they've released in a slightly broken state. And if they're just going to use quite a lot of development time to just do bug ironing, then it's not really going to show through in the final product, you know what I mean? I just don't want them to focus purely on multiplayer and give us a quarter of a game. Because games tend to do that. They give you half a game for like 50 quid or whatever. And then they charge you 40 quid for the rest of the game as DLC. And I'm going to complain about that in a minute as well. But back to the maps. I want like a dozen maps. I think 12 is pretty much the minimum they should aim for. And given the fact that it's Battlefield, I'd want... let's see. See, some of my favourite maps have involved both large-scale vehicle combat and tightly focused infantry as well. Can't remember what it was called, but there was it Firestorm? I can't remember the name of the level, but it's like an oil refinery in the desert from ages ago, and when I was playing that back on Battlefield 3, there was something stupid like 3 tanks, a jeep, 2 ATVs, a couple of helicopters, a couple of jets. It was vehicle heaven. It was designed to be purely a vehicle level. But then there were other levels like the Paris metro system that funneled everybody into that one square room with the escalators coming down and up and meeting in the middle, and the 2 corridors down either side. And then there was that other one set in the Middle East where it was basically a big square was the map. A square road running right round the outside. And then there was like a block of buildings in the middle and a street. Narrow, slightly twisty street running straight down the middle. That was another one of my favourites. I don't need vehicles in every map. But if you put vehicles in a map, I want you... Right. In terms of maps, if we do 12 maps, let's say 2 big maps with shitloads of like vehicles and whatnot. Mainly ground vehicles, some air, some naval backup. Maybe 2 maps focusing on naval vehicles, 2 maps focusing on aircraft, 2 maps focusing on that tight quarters infantry with maybe 1 vehicle as backup, and 2 larger mainly infantry maps with maybe a couple of vehicles, you know, something like that. You got to give variety to it. You got to make each map feel different, not just look different and have a different layout, but different vehicles and different setups that either expand or restrict the use of the vehicles, because the vehicles are a big part of Battlefield. Right, what the hell else was I going to talk about now? I've completely forgotten. Oh yeah, the new class-based system as well. There's well, it's not a class-based system. They're going to have specialists. And where's it written down here? Ah! I did not read this properly before I... Yeah. Shit! Maps of which there will be 7 at the start. Are you kidding me? Oh... Fuck you guys. There's going to be no campaign. There's going to be no... I mean, there's going to be more than 1 game mode for the multiplayer, obviously. But they're only doing multiplayer. And I literally just made a big deal. Out of, you know, 8 maps isn't enough. I want 12. There's going to be 7. What the hell are they going to be working on, for Christ's sake? That's really pissed me off as that. I wish I'd... Well, actually, no. Now that I think about it, I'm glad I didn't read that beforehand, because... Yeah. Because now I get to react to... Fuck! On camera, you know? Okay, what else? Moving on, you shitters. What was I gonna talk about? Oh yeah, the class system. Here we go. Apparently, there's the old class system where you're gonna have like the assault, support, recon, engineer. I don't know why, but they say recon, support, assault, or medic. Have these guys not played a Battlefield game in a while? There hasn't been a medic for ages. Unless, did they change it in the recent? I haven't actually played a Battlefield game in a while. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Okay, forget I said anything. Feel free to correct me down below. But regardless, instead of 4 classes, now you're going to have specialists, which will have 2 unique perks. They don't actually give an example as to what the perks are, though. So, because traditionally you can equip a main weapon, a backup, like 2 additional gadgets, and a grenade type, or something like that. So perks, are we leaning towards Call of Duty territory with the perks here? Is that what we're talking about? Or are we actually talking about things like the rocket launcher, the grenade launcher, the medic pack, the ammo bag, you know, those things? Because one of the reasons that this is giving me cause for concern, this no classes in favour of these specialists, is that you're going to be able to completely customise your loadout. Well, I can tell you exactly what everyone's going to do straight away. They're going to pick the most damaging, most accurate assault rifle they can, and the rocket launcher. And everybody's just going to use that. Unless you get the occasional person who wants to snipe from a distance, at which point they'll pick a sniper rifle. If you get a very close-in map, you might get someone wielding a PDW or a shotgun. But that's the thing, you see, with the engineer class, if you wanted the rocket launcher, you needed to have a PDW or a shotgun, because the game wouldn't let you use the higher powered weapons because you've already got a rocket launcher. Screw you. You're going to have to make a choice. Now it's sounding like you're not going to have to. You're going to be able to carry anti-infantry weapons and anti-tank weapons. And that's before you take into account whether these extra perks are going to be things like anti-tank mines. Because I don't know what the perks are at the moment. So at the moment, I'm not feeling particularly enamoured of all of this news that's coming out. 7 fucking maps. And sorry, I'm still hung up on that shit. Damn it. But yeah, I don't like the idea of being a totally customizable loadout. It feels like Battlefield is trying to veer into Call of Duty's territory. And nobody does Call of Duty like Call of Duty. It's the same thing every year, but in all fairness, they nailed the formula ages ago to perfection, and they'd be stupid to mess with perfection, you know what I mean? Battlefield has always been different, and it feels like it's veering more towards it. I'd need to know what these specialist perks are. Another thing that, there's an open beta, but there isn't a release date for that. Your progress from the beta won't be carried over. I've just seen that there, it's worth saying. What else? I was going to say, it might not have been written down there. I was going to say something now and I can't bloody remember what it was. It was written down somewhere in here. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Right, these specialists, each of which comes with 2 unique perks, but others allow for fully custom. Is that supposed to be otherwise? Comes with 2 unique perks, but otherwise allows for fully customizable loadouts. Proofread your documents, please, Kotaku. DICE plans to roll out 4 of these seasons and 4 of these new specialists during Battlefield 2042's first year. So these specialists are going to be like... They're going to be like part or not... See, season is making me think of a season pass, like a battle pass. Oh yeah, season's battle pass. So, does that mean we're going to get 4 a year? And what, we're going to get 4 specialists per quarter? Again, it depends what these perks are. I don't like this idea. I think it sounds like it's going to screw with Battlefield's system. And it sounds like the extra ones are going to be paid content. So presumably you're going to have to pay like, I don't know, for the PS5 version, 70 quid at launch. And however the fuck knows what else for the extra. What I'm trying to say is, what I've seen in the trailer is all pre-rendered, so take it with a truckload of salt. And what I've read about this so far doesn't fill me with much confidence. There's a shitload here that's bothering me. Only 7 maps, this stupid perk system, which I need to know more about, but sounds like a bad idea. And this paid seasons thing. I'm not enamored of this. I'll keep up with it. They said that apparently we're going to get some gameplay footage today. Oh, I think I've ranted and raved enough in this video. Yeah. Not a fan. I'll wait for the gameplay trailer when that comes out. Hopefully sometime. I might do it tonight or tomorrow. Because I'm in Britain. They're operating on a different time zone to me. But I'll do the gameplay trailer when it comes out. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. This video has gone on for long enough. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe and share, all that jazz. See you next time.